Well, it's 3 o'clock and we are live here again with the Rim Junkie Show. Sun is beaming down in Donegal and my guest is in Cork where the sun is beaming down on her too. I am thrilled to welcome. Today is our Ask the Expert slot and this girl is most definitely an expert. She's top of her game, there's nothing she doesn't know about light. And you all know from listening to me that lighting is one of the most important things in your house. It has a capacity to affect your health, your mental health, your well-being, and your sense of contentment in your home. So Pamela Cull from Pamela Cull, I said in Donegal we would call you Cull, Pamela Cull. You are so welcome to today's Rim Junkie Ask the Expert show, and I suspect you're going to be inundated with questions. You're so welcome, Pam.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to absolutely be here. I'm more than happy just to share any knowledge that I've acquired in the last 30 years of being in this industry. I'm more than happy to share with your listeners.
Well, this is great. The girls are all coming in. I see another Noreen. It's another Cork girl just popping in. We'll give Noreen a Cork wave. You've brought some interesting bits and pieces, and hello to everybody who's joining in. You've brought some interesting bits and pieces, some that were new to me as well, and will definitely be new to some of the girls.
Definitely. Well, we have a Tuesday tips segment that we run, and it's things that I've accumulated over the years, and I suppose they're second nature to me. We just thought, look, you know what, we'll put it online and we'll let people see. And it's got so many people out of so many different tricky situations. So if we're okay, will I show you one of them?
Absolutely.
All together. So this one has actually got a great reaction from me. So what it is you'll know in your lamp holder, and the industry tries to confuse us with so many different plug-ins, push-ins, screw-ins and everything else. But people would be most popular that you've either got a push-in or a screw-in. And basically what this is a converter. So if you've got, yeah, I know straight away people are looking at it thinking, oh my God, this is a godsend. You should have 100% one of these in the kitchen press, because you will go out, you will buy your light bulb, you'll come home to put it into the fitting, and the next thing you'll go to stick this light bulb up into the ceiling and it can't go in because it's the push in that you should have had inside there. So all you'll do is you push a push in up into the fitting, it converts it to a screw in, and straight away, there you go, Bob's your uncle. Now this will fit any size of bulb. So that's your normal little baby pair, as we call them. And we have a project on the go at the moment, and somebody wants to put a statement piece over their island of a bulb.
Wow.
And it's 3 of these hanging over their kitchen island. Now this is the amber fitting, and again they are only made in a screw-in fitting. So the pendants are already in place, they've got a BC fitting inside them, so all they've had to do is pick up one of these little lads in the way, and away they go. And you can literally pick these up in any of your local hardware stores, any of your electrical wholesalers. They're about €3 a piece, and it's so good. And I mean, people will go out there, you'll buy your bulb. If it doesn't work, I always say have one of those in a kitchen press, pull it out, and away you go. So that was
amazing. That was designed by a woman. Did Pamela Cull design that? That is so clever. Claire Lannan is saying hello, Mary Barkley. Lovely to see the girls here.
Hello, ladies. Hello,
now,
ladies.
That's something new for all of them.
Now,
something new for the handbag.
Absolutely, 100%. Now, another one is, so you've got your pendant fitting in the ceiling, and it's got one bulb coming through it, and you wished, I wish it had a little bit more light. It's not quite bright enough, and even though you're putting in your 100-watt bulb or whatever, it still mightn't be quite enough. So on the same principle as we had before, so you put into your lamp holder, you screw your little fitting all the way around, that fits into it. So let's just imagine this was your lamp holder, this lad now fits into it, he's into it, round he goes, your power is transferred into here, and now you have the ability to put 3 bulbs in what would have been the place of 1.
And I like that, because I like to layer light, you like to layer light. So doing that gives a better distribution of the light. That's ingenious, Pamela.
100%. I mean, I would be a big believer in that you can never have enough light inside the house. And then the idea then is controlling that light. So you control it by the choice of bulbs that you put into it, the color tones that you put into it, whether you apply a dimmer switch into the house, and then, but you can't go back, and you know this from all the interior design work that you do. I mean, if we go into a house that's already a functioning house and they've got so many problems because the lighting wasn't designed early enough back in the project, and we're trying to change things. So all of these little things have come up to try and help people where, you know, we can increase more light because there's only one pendant in the ceiling or something like that. Because it's so important, but definitely never have enough light.
No, it's actually been scientifically and medically proven that too little light will actually cause distress and anxiety and depression. Now, too much light can be disconcerting as well, but as you say, once you have the light, you can control it. Now, many people have got a light fitting in place and they hate where it is, and it's in the wrong place because the electrician didn't put much thought into it, or maybe they've bought a different table and they want to put it over their table. You have something in your handbag to solve that problem, don't you?
Here we have, out of the magic bag it comes again, because as you know, I mean, you start the build and you have a plan, and maybe just you can't afford to get the proper table and chairs that you want at the start. So you may end up with a small one, and then all of a sudden it's a bigger one, and it completely changes where it's on the fitting. So what we have is we have this sled. So this guy fits up into the ceiling to where your cable is actually hanging from at the moment. He's then covered by, it can be chrome, it can be anthracite. And then you get a series of poles in a pack that you can extend and extend and extend to a cable. So you basically have this where the incorrect one is placed in the ceiling. And then all of a sudden, anywhere up to a meter down the room in any direction, you can now have your new hanging pendant from your new cable.
That's incredible. And do you know something? I've just thought of something as you demonstrated that there. With a contemporary fitting, that would almost look like a design feature and part of it, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. We've actually done that because people have liked that idea, and they've said exactly as you said, you know what, let's actually incorporate it, just something different, something quirky. And we've done that as well too.
Oh my goodness. Lots of people popping in. Anne Walsh is saying hello from Kerry, and hello to everybody else. They're learning already. That's amazing. Have you anything else to show us?
Okay, so my next one that I have to show you, and this is, okay, so in every house, we've got your recessed spotlight that everybody knows that are up on the ceiling. And they've been there for forever. They've been GU10 bulbs that you use, that you pop into them. That costs you quite a lot to run. And not only that, I mean, they'll blow, you've got to change them, but there's a lot of running costs when you've got 50 watt per all of the different lights. And times change, as you say, and you may want to put a different light inside there, and the color changes might want to change as well too. So what they have invented in the industry is a stunning new spotlight. I'm going to turn off the light first, just so I don't blind everybody. So this is, now people will know this, especially with new builds, because this is the electrician's favorite. They
me too. It's a game changer.
It's a game changer, completely. And for anyone that doesn't know what this fitting is, this is what you're telling your electrician that you want to put your recessed spots with your CCT in it. He'll be very impressed, because then you'll know you've got all of the knowledge. So what you've got, you'll be doing him out of a job, because you'll be able to go and source all these yourselves. So what you've got is, you've got a product that ticks every box. It's IP44, so as you know, that means that it's rated for inside in a bathroom, which is perfect, and it's also dimmable. So because with your light fitting here, and you can bring it up to being so bright and everything else, you want to have the option to be able to dim it back down again. And anybody that puts in an LED spot, I say to them, look, 100%, this is what you need to do. You need to be able to put in a dimmer switch with them. Now, depending on the cutout that you have already, you could actually retrofit these guys into the existing one. So if you look at it from a monetary point of view, you're taking out what's a 50 watt fitting and you're replacing it with a 6 watt, even all the way down to a 3 watt. But the beauty of him is, and this goes back to learning about bulbs, is that on the back of it, can you see it there? You've got 3 little buttons. Yeah. So you've got CW, cool white, NW, natural white, WW, warm white. And what you'll do, we'll turn it on now, ladies, so be prepared. Okay, so this is your cool white. So we haven't shined on me. This is that blue light that you'll get. Now, this is the light that I always suggest and recommend for your utility room, because that's a working room. You need to see what's going on inside there, and your bathroom, because again, you want to have the proper light for what you're seeing inside. Then in the event that you want to change something else, you just push the button across, and you can just see me change there. And I've gone to a natural white, and then if you'll see, I've gone all golden. and that is your warm white. So your warm white would be in your kitchens or your living rooms. Your natural whites could also be inside in your kitchens. But it's a fabulous product that you can pick and choose the color, and you've got the same look going through the house. So you'll have these in your hallway, they'll be in your sitting room, they'll be in your kitchen, and the same look, maybe just a different shape running through it. They're overspec'd from the point that they're all going to be IP44, but I mean, you can't go wrong in having that and putting a dimmer switch on them. So that is 100% of a game changer to the industry. And I would recommend any of the new builds, put in those, and then you've got no more. Like LED is like, it's so amazing. I mean, it's the no changing of the bulbs, which is great because it's there and it's all set up. And we just got through the trends this morning for 2022 because as you know, and like the lighting industry, it kicks in before the actual year. So 2021 kicked in for us in October. 2022 actually kicks in this October. So I mean, we look at the trends that are coming through, and definitely, I mean, it's LED are one of them. Well, we'll go through the other ones as well, but that's definitely one of the ones that are there. So everything then all ties in together.
So style-wise and color-wise, what are we looking at? Give us, this is an insider scoop now, ladies.
Right, so we'll give you the goss, as we say down here in Cork, and we'll give you all of the trade secrets. So, so I suppose 2021, we'd been working on the palette that all the interior designers, so sand, stone, and spices. So that was our color palette for 2021. So that's the one that we're in at the moment. Products that, and in the lighting industry that we were working at to tie in with interior designers as well, were the natural products and sustainability and connecting, and even more so because what has happened now, the outdoors to the indoors. So that's the sort of the textural, and that followed through on the lighting. So you had wickers, you had industrial, so you had very much sort of the outdoor light coming in to the indoor light. So in the season that we're in at the moment, we've got focused on the lines. You've got the metallics and the statement pieces are huge. And I suppose more so now that people are appreciating their homes and the times that they're spending inside in their homes, we're constantly getting the inquiries on the statement pieces. Now, we do have a few bits here as well, so we'll show you those there in a second. But just so we had statement pieces, and then we had the natural products and your industrial feel. So we're still very much at the moment in a wicker and industrial. Now that is about to change, only slightly. And we also had at the moment we're in, it's the darker Scandinavian feel as well too. So that's what you'll find with your timbers. But here we go, 2022, ladies. The three main themes that are coming through are, we have New Nordic, we have natural minimalism, and we have retro. And you'll know this, and you'll know what's coming down. I mean, brass, it's back. And it wasn't. So, I mean, what we've got with the New Nordic, this has actually been, we take our inspiration from the interior designers, and then we see what's coming down the line.
Fashion as well. Yeah.
100%, absolutely. So, I mean, the palette that we're looking at has changed slightly. We're on our earth tones, but what we've done is we see the new colors that are coming through. So your greens and your blacks are all still there. Blue is making an appearance again, but it's gold and brass. They're definitely back because there's a retro element after it's coming in with designs coming through from the 60s and reinvent. I mean, you know, it's like everything comes back around again. So they're back around again. So your brass then is coming in as well. I mean, if you see it at the moment, like in the light fittings, black and brass, black and gold, it's huge. Brown and gold is there as well. And you can mix and match all of those elements together. And it just looks stunning in the end.
So my interpretation is contemporary design is looked after. Mm-hmm. My sound okay?
Oh, you're perfect. You're perfect to me.
Contemporary is looked after. The industrial vibe is there. Scandi Nordic is there. Yep. If somebody has a more classically inspired home and wanted to keep it quite classical, are there still? But I know the navies and the golds are working really well in a classic design, even aubergines and golds and greens, dark greens and golds. So I suppose there's something there for everybody. But it's good to shake it up.
It is. It's great. And like the beauty is that, I mean, we deal with suppliers all across the world. So you've got all of the different tastes and styles that are coming through. So that you will have, Ireland does have its own style in itself, as you know.
Same
Well,
with bathrooms. I'm serious. I'm serious.
oh, I mean, if one more person asks me, you know, why don't the European make a bathroom light with a pull cord? I mean, I get so excited when one of my suppliers will come in and he'll say, we've put a bell cord in a bathroom light. And it's like, ladies, we have it. It's back. And they're saying, what is it? It's an Irish thing that we need to have a pull cord on it. Look, we do definitely, we have our own style, but we can draw. I mean, there's so many fantastic suppliers out there. Is that literally whatever, any idea that anybody comes up with, we can work with it. I mean, I've brought garden lighting into bathrooms, and I've had electricians that have said, I mean, they'll see it coming in and it's in a garden box, it's in a garden lighting box, and they'll say, what are you doing? But it would be a stone copper wall. They may have copper fittings inside in the bathroom, and we need to have an IP rated fitting because it's a bathroom. So the only way you're going to get an IP rated is to use, if it's not a bathroom fitting, is to use a garden fitting. So we've had beautiful IP rated copper lights against a beautiful stone wall inside the bathroom. So
you're just amazing. One question here, I don't want to miss it. Audrey Hurahan is saying, it's a good question. Lots of people will have this issue. Any suggestions for lighting up cabinets, no socket nearby? That was a topic that I was going to ask you about too, because lots of people are doing built-in cabinetry and how to light it properly, Pamela, because if it's not done properly, it's not going to look well.
It is, and it's hard. I mean, what we try and do is, because I suppose going back to what we were saying, is that we try to get in on house plans at the very start. I mean, I'm working on house plans for a field, and the field is there, but we've got the plans of the house. And we go through every little thing. So once we've got, if we know that there's going to be a press or a display cabinet or something in that space, even if it's not going to be there for, it could be a year or two, depending on the extent. So we'll always make sure we get power to that area so that we can actually run the fitting then, and then we can extend it. So the idea then being is that with your cabinet lights, that you would have just a tiny little 1.5 of a little pin light that's recessed into the top of that, which will come down and reflect down through the glasses, or then if you've got a solid shelf inside there as well too. And then the other thing would be your LED strips. So like your LED strip, it can actually run through the shelves and can be incorporated. So I mean, we'd work with the cabinet makers as well too, to incorporate it down and then back down. So we'll eventually find that power that's been there to try and get that through as well. And the other thing I would say is, and I know we've spoken about this already, is to use like that good LED. If you're going to put the LED lighting inside there, and you're looking at it, and again, it's like going to shop for a bulb, and people say, I don't understand. Like, I want it warm white, and then they see. They'll either see 2,700, they'll see 4,000, or they say 6,000 on a box, and they'll say, but what's warm white? Because warm white isn't written on a box, but warm white is your 2,700. It's the same with your LED strip. You will go and it'll be LED and it'll be white. It'll be LED RGB, which is color. It'll be LED RGBW. Now, that doesn't seem all that important for that little W at the end of it, but it's so important when you're buying your LED strip, because RGB is color changing, fabulous, you use remote control, but it has no white. It has no resting space. So like when we'll do an island or a plinth under a kitchen, it's great to be able to make it turn green of an evening, or purples or blues, and it's fantastic. But you may want to have it white. So you need to then go that extra step and go that RGBW. Your drivers are very important as well for your cabinet lighting, because what you'll find is that, and this is so important when you spend all that money on a beautiful cabinet, is if you put in a cheap LED strip and your driver isn't strong enough, what it'll do is it'll be fine, it'll start fine, but then your colors will start to wane. From the furthest point, it'll start to lose the strength because the driver isn't actually driving the power to it. So it's all the little things that are important to know. Your electricians are great and they've got all of this knowledge as well. But it's just, if you're buying it yourself, it's just sort of to be mindful. But it's fabulous. I mean, to light up the cabinet. But again, it goes back. It's like if you want to have your table lamps and your floor lamps turned on when your main light is coming on, you want to have your 5 amp sockets in place for that. So everything then is wired in. And you're not wasting money by having a socket put in place and then having to come back and say, oh, I want that 5 amp. You've paid for that socket. You've paid for that work to be done. And it's taking it back out again. So it's have this done as early as you can, so you know what's there and you're not wasting money by redoing something that you could have done in the first instance.
So many of the girls here are building. I know they are, and now they're having a hiatus. The build has stopped. So this is a really good time for them to educate themselves. When you were talking about that, not getting a proper driver and a good quality LED, can you imagine if you'd have invested in a marble waterfall island and 6 months later or a year later?
Oh, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, we had a situation, and we had the marble that was about to rest down onto the island, and we met with the electrician, and it was actually, it wasn't anybody's real fault. It was the client was kind of undecided. I will, I won't, I will, I won't. And as much as we would say it's so important to have that decision made, and then the decision came sort of, you know, at the 11th hour, I'm going to go for it. So straight away we were in. We had to actually channel through the floor, because we had, like, nobody wanted to see the cables through, because we didn't want it. The other option was to cut into the island, which we really did not want to have to do. We could have done it, to put a socket in it and to put a switch in that, and we didn't. We wanted to be able to have it connected back to the kitchen wall so they could turn it on that way, and we did it, and it was fine and it was great. But I would definitely say to the ladies, I mean, for the builds that have slowed at the moment, start now thinking, and a huge thing, and I know, and we talk about this all of the time, is to tie in with the builder and check to see what your PC sum is that you've been allocated for your electrical work. This, honestly, ladies, this is, and gents, if we have gents with us today, it is so important, because your quote that you'll have been gotten from your electrician, there'll be or from your builder, there'll be a quote in for your electrical work, and you take that and you park that to one side, and then you think, okay, so all I have to do now is my lighting, that I'm going to go and buy my lighting. So I'll arrive on site. Now, I'm 100% more in favour of being on site. I'm very invested in all of my projects, and I really do feel, because with the best will, I can read from a plan, but when I'm standing inside this, I need to see where the light is coming from at the different hours of the day when I'm actually doing all of my planning and all of that. But I'll arrive inside site, and we'll sit down and we'll talk about, you know, the different spotlights, positioning for over the island, you know, even putting, you know, your statement piece in the hallway, and what we need to do and what we need to put in place. And I've asked clients to double check with the builder to what was actually allowed, and they've said, look, no, we're covered. And I said, do me a favor, ask. And they said, no, we're, and I said, just ask. And they'll come back and they say they've been allowed for a double socket and a single pendant in every room. That's what they were priced for. You can't blame the builder. This is what he does. He does his electrical bit. But all of a sudden then you've come back and you said, but I actually need, it's like, yes, you have a double socket. What kind of a socket are you putting in? What style of a socket is it? Was it white? Is it chrome? Have you got switches? Are they dimmable? Do we need to put LED modules behind them? Have we got LED spots? Then we have to have LED dimmers. How many spots have we got? What's it cost to cut out a spot? I mean, the electricians, you know, I mean, it varies. You could be anywhere between €70 and €100 per spot. This won't have been allowed. And it's very hard because it then digs into the budget for everything else that's there. So it's so important, is especially at this stage, and when you've got time, just double check with them, see what's allowed, and then get an idea. And I mean, what needs to be done is you can do it now and it can be laid out on paper, and so you've worked out what it's going to cost. And then first fixing that's when you decide, because once it's first fixed, everything then it can be changed, but there's more work involved, and you want to keep. Yeah.
Mackie is telling me there is an echo. I think there is, but anyway, we'll have to just deal with it.
Oh, sorry, Maura.
Karen is saying, hi ladies, I don't want to put curtains on the large slider in my kitchen, living, dining area. Can I use lighting inside or out to make the glass less reflective and cold? You can use lighting. Dermot Bannon discovered this, didn't he? when he was built in his house.
I was just going to say it. That sounds like a Dermot Bannon moment. Absolutely, 100%. So you can do. So what? And if you've actually seen that when he actually did that, in the project that he was doing, and it's very similar to one that we've done in down in Dukes in Killarglen there recently, and it is, so you've got those recess that I was showing you there earlier on. You also can get an outdoor version of those. And so what you're doing is on the outdoor, which they'd be PVC. So on the outside, now depending on your fascias and soffits and then the thickness, and depending on what your fascias and soffits are actually made of, you can actually have your recessed in that, and that will then kill that worry that you have of that shadow inside it. So 100% it is doable. Now, I love, and I know I'm an electrician's nightmare, because I love the recessed spots outside the house. I think like in all the corners of the house, the effect that those recessed spots have, they're a very inexpensive product to get. They are an electrician's nightmare if you go back to him afterwards and say, oh, I've seen this, can you put this in place? So definitely you want to have that in place for him beforehand. But so you can do that, and that will take away what you're looking for, and then you can just add the rest of that effect around the house if you wanted to.
I'm going to try something. Maura said it's just me. I don't think I checked my mic, ladies, before I came on. Is that better, Maura? You're our sound control expert. Better or worse? Doesn't matter.
Thinking.
Maybe they can't hear me at all now. I don't know. Any other questions there? For the lady who, can you hear me, Pamela?
I can hear you. Yes, I got you. Definitely, Anne. I have you. I'm just going to try and move.
It's only me. It's only me.
Our sun is killing me at the moment.
I know that sun is difficult. It's really hard at the minute. The other question, I know Emer Kelly says you're fine, and that's thanks, Emer. Oh, sorry, I've done something silly there. There was another question. Michelle Given says you're perfect, Anne. Sure, Michelle Given, you know, perfect. I wish. Karen, it's in better now. I think I didn't check my mic, so apologies for that, ladies. For the girl who has no power to her cabinets, I suppose if she was changing her floor, it would be easy enough to take power to that. Here's another question too. What's the best light to read with? I don't have many PowerPoints. Also, what is good lighting for the bedroom? And I have a client actually, Pamela, who's looking for bendy lights to have in lieu of lamps so that she can they read a lot. So what's your take on that?
Absolutely. So there's a new design actually come out on the 2022 collection, and so it's exactly that. So whereas people have gone away from having the bedside lamp, and it's the arms then that are reaching out over the bed itself. So they've come out in 3 different design concepts. So you've one that's reaching out completely over, which I tend to use more in a dining room and in a lounge area to come out over the lounge. But then you've got the other 2. So you've got one that's on a bendy arm, and then you've got another one, which is like your hotel style room, which has 2 applications to it. So it'll have just the shade itself that'll move, and then it'll usually have an additional reading light on it as well then too. And that they're always directional. So you can move those around, and for that extra light that you need for reading, definitely that directional light that would be there. I suppose going back to your lady with the no power in it, it'll depend on, as you say, I mean, what you don't like. Trunking, it's definitely not the prettiest. We don't want to do that wherever we can get away with it. Like the electrician, they can fish is what their technical term. So I mean, he can come and bring power from wherever your center light is, and he can bring it now, depending if he's got access to the attic, and he can bring it over and he can bring it down. So there's a lot of work to it. I mean, I suppose there always is the option, and it's just because of I do what I do. Battery isn't something that I kind of bring people or direct people to, but I suppose like if you're at your wit's end and there is no way and it's just going to be too expensive, then it would be a case of putting in a battery light that would be inside there, and then that would just turn it on and turn it off. They tend not to be the most stylish. They tend to be the type of light that you have hidden away in your pantry press, and that's the light that you use it for. It's just in your beautiful cabinet. If it's in place, then definitely it's that bit of work is to try and figure out. So we've either got to come up, or we've got to come down. Now, I mean, it can run along the skirting. It just means there's a bit of work involved in it, but it's 100% doable. And then it'll come up through the back. Like what we normally try and do is we'd have a socket in a cabinet, and then that allows for whenever we want to run it, then we can run it back up again. It's doable, and even like for any of the ladies that are here, if there's anything that I don't answer tonight or anything that comes to you when you come off the phone, I mean, just send us a message, send it to Anne, send it to myself or whatever, and we'll send you more of a detailed answer as well to it.
What is the best way to contact you, Pamela, if some of the girls do want to contact you?
So, well, we have the website. So Pamela Cull, it's thankfully it's one of those names that there's only me. It may be a good thing or a bad thing. So Pamela Cull Lighting Consultancy will get you straight onto the website, and it'll get you onto the Facebook page. So you can literally drop us a message through the website, drop us a message through the Facebook page, on Instagram. The office at PamelaCullDesign.ie is me. You can email us. So we've got many. Just come at us from any angle, and we'll come back and try and answer that. You were saying there, and somebody was looking for a reading light, but they didn't have power. Was the other thing? Was there? Did I? Now you can get fabulous reading lights that are charged up through your computer. So because I wouldn't be a great fan of like a battery operated light, but these guys, because they're LEDs, so you charge them through your computer, and as soon as then they're fully charged, they're a fabulous light for students, because they end up in areas and in dark spaces, and they don't have a plug to plug it into. So it can be charged, they're fold up, put them in your bag and then take them away. Fabulous for reading. They're touch, and they go on those 3 different color tones, so you can bring up your light. So fabulous. I mean, battery operated are great as well too.
That is something else I know from today. Teresa Halliburton asked me, she said, working from home, do you have a light on an overhead light as well? What do you do?
The amount of offices at the moment, I mean, that's what, like, we've got kitchens that are now not kitchens anymore, that they are schoolrooms, and they're offices, bedrooms that are there. So there's a lot of fabulous fittings. The important thing, because I see people working from home and they're working from a 60-watt bulb over it, and the amounts of headaches and everything else that they're getting, it's crazy. So what I would be suggesting to anybody that's working from that is to replace what you've got up there at the moment and have an LED light in its place, and an LED dimmable light that's got the 3 different color tones that would be in it. So what you've got is you can bring it up to that level that we were doing there on the other light that's there, which is your working light that you need for your working day. And then as the room changes and it changes back to being a kitchen or a dining room, you can change that light back. But it's so important is to have the if you can have your task light that's focused in on your computer that's there. But for me, what I would be suggesting is it's your overhead light is the light that you have to change. And then what that does is that you'll bring that light up to that 6000 color. And what it'll do is it'll allow you to reduce the colors that's on your screen. So this is what you want. It's that color that's coming back at you from your laptop and your computers. You've got the light overhead, which will, and that's because it's your computer, that's your headache light, and you want to bring down your that light so that your tones on that one then are brighter or lighter for you. Sorry.
That's an excellent answer. I think my echo is back. Another question, Audrey. Bulb for the bedroom. What to put in the bedroom?
Okay, bulb for the bedroom. So this guy, which is your vintage style light. Now, depending on if are we talking about putting them into lamps, or are we talking about putting them into the overhead fittings? It'll depend on what sort of lights that you have inside there. But in your overhead light, okay. Well, I wouldn't be putting your ambient, like your amber gray is it's a romantic setting and everything else. But if you are doing practical things inside the bedroom and you want to you're doing choosing of your clothes and everything else inside there, I would be putting in your natural tone, which is any bulb that's got a color tone of it between 4,000 and 4,500. That's your colour tone that you're looking for, which would be perfect inside in the bedroom. LED again, and that depending on whether your light fitting has got a single bulb or if it's got 3 or 4 bulbs on it as well too, because what you'll find is that people now have to try and understand the difference between going from what they would have known as being a 60-watt bulb and a 100-watt bulb to your LEDs. You'll find that your 10-watt is probably your most popular size of bulb that will be there, your 9s and your 10s. So I would definitely, what you're looking for is your natural white, which is your color tones somewhere between 4 and 4,500. And it'll say, if that's your kelvins, that's your color on your box. So when you're looking on your box.
That's wonderful. Any more questions? We're nearly out of time. Please thanks for information.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, and before you leave, I just want to congratulate you on the lodging of your interior design school at the end of the month. I mean, oh my goodness, it's so amazing. I mean, it's fabulous. I mean, I'm just so thrilled for you. It's going to be
I'm excited.
Fantastic.
It's my fourth child, and before and if anybody wants to know anything about it, please, because once it goes up in Thinkific, once it's launched properly, the price is going to go up. So if anybody wants to grab a bargain between now and next weekend, send me a message. But I shared a little nugget with Pamela earlier. Today, my guru, my icon, Kelly Hoppin, actually commented back to me and sent me a little message. Isn't that crazy? Absolutely crazy. Fiona Galler has a question. Questions always come in at the last minute, but that's okay. I have a very dark kitchen with 2 fittings. What would you recommend to go for light fittings to get the maximum light? This is a problem for so many people.
It is. Like, we've got a lot of people that have a fluorescent light inside there at the moment, and it looks awful, it looks horrible, and they want to have something functional. I mean, I try and get as much light as I can in different zones within the kitchen. So if you can, try and get something into the islands, under the cabinets. If you're limited at the moment, and all you have, so you've got your 2 pendant fittings that are there, and they're the only 2 that you're going to have inside there, and you're looking to change those, then what you're conscious of what you're actually looking for at the style. So you're either going for something that's open, so that will actually let the light coming out through it, or something that will let the light go up. People love, and they see the beautiful pendant lights, but they forget when it comes in. And if it's a light that you're going to just throw the shadow up onto the ceiling, so to try and get something open and try and get something in glass. If you want to send me across your pictures there afterwards, I'll send you across absolutely loads of different ideas and suggestions of what you can put inside there. A lot of it can do with changing the bulbs and putting them inside there as well, but the style of it, and it could be a case of just like having the 2 fittings that are there, depending on the distance that between them. Like, it could be something of blocking in one. You could have something that's actually got a big ceiling plate that on it that would then throw the light over it again. It's better if I can get a picture to show you inside there. I mean, there's a solution absolutely to every problem. And send me on those pictures, and I'll send you across suggestions. No problem.
Maureen Carty saying hello Maureen, and Fiona saying thank you. Pamela, we could talk lighting all day long. You are an absolute powerhouse of knowledge.
This one. So this is, and I know we planned to do this earlier on because we'd mentioned the statement piece inside it. Okay, so ladies, just be mindful. So this is a crystal statement piece. It weighs 2 kilos. This is one of a selection of lighting that you'd have that come on anything from 2.5 meters to 3 meters, because we do a lot of, you know yourself, I mean, lighting comes in at 1.5 and you need to have a longer hanging space. So if you've got something that needs to hang super long, just want to show you that one lit up there. And I know we were looking at himself. So there we go. Oh God, where's that? There we go.
Oh my God, that's
stunning. So we'll bring him into the new school. He'll be something to show and do on more details that will be there. And definitely, if anyone's got any questions, just send me pictures, and I'll be more than happy to come back.
Well, what a generous, beautiful offer. Pamela, you're an absolute legend, and I'm just so honored that you came on board today, because I'm passionate about lighting. This is your speciality. This is what you live, breathe, do every single day. So they know how to get in touch with you. Follow her on Facebook, follow her on Instagram, find her wherever you can. And it was my pleasure to have you here today. And I know
honestly, it was mine. Thank you so much. And I just hope that the ladies got something from it. That it's just to help somebody. And any more we can do. Thank you so much for having it, and so best of luck with the college. I'm just so excited for you.
Thank you so much. Ladies, I can see all the comments. They loved everything that you talked about today. They've learned so much. I will be back at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Susan Quaid is building a new house in Limerick. She's watching and looking and loving it. So I'll be back at 3 o'clock tomorrow with a live Q&A. If anybody wants to know any more about the online masterclass, please just send me a message and I'll send you the details. Michelle Given, who's Shay Given's sister. Michelle Given is Shay Given's famous sister, gorgeous girl, Pilates expert. She's saying thank you, ladies. That was just wonderful, and I hope I wasn't too squeaky and too tinny. So lesson learned. I will check my microphone tomorrow before I go live. So listen, stay safe, stay fabulous. See you again at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Pamela Cull, you are a legend.
Thank you so much. Thanks a million, and thank you. Take care.